And we are live. Ascension eSports Elder League. Fire-breathing rubber duckies versus the Goon Brigade. I'm Decerux, followed by my co-caster of the evening. It's the legend himself, the Doctor. How are you doing?
Not bad, my man. Been looking forward to this pretty badly. And I'm excited because these are two teams that have come up and done a lot of damage in these playoffs.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially Goon Brigade. They've made quite a mission to get where they are now. They started at the quarterfinals, they made their way all the way to semis, and now they're actually in the finals, managing to beat Interns United to get this spot.
Yeah, and both teams, you know, they've put in a lot of work. We can see it. I don't know if it's on stream yet, but a lot of these players are plat, actually. They, you know, being a gold league, they've worked hard. You know, they've put in the work. They've gotten ranked up so that, you know, they did what this league is designed to do. So now they're getting a point where, you know, it's actually supposed to be a heavy-hitting match. Like, both sides, like, we're not supposed to see a stomp here. I hope this isn't a 3-0, and I don't believe it's going to be a 3-0.
And we are getting into Champion Select, Goon Brigade versus Fire-breathing rubber duckies. And I have to agree with you. I don't think this one's going to come out to be a 3-0. I expect to see some war going on. Both of these teams looked really good, especially the Fire-breathing rubber duckies, but more specifically, Goon Brigade making their huge impact in order to get into these finals, which is what I mentioned.
Yes, sir.
They looked great. They 3-0'd Backdoor to Your Mom, and they 3-1'd Interns United. So they really have something to
learn from your mistakes.
Now, it is a little unfortunate that they did lose some bans due to substitutes, but that is kind of the name of the game. It's been plaguing this entire playoff season, but in all honesty, it hasn't really hurt the teams too much, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's gonna see how this plays out. In Dragon League, it was pretty much devastating to the first seeded team, 3v, who fell before even making the finals, making it to the semifinals, dropping and not even getting to the finals just because of the substitutions. So hopefully we don't see that kind of thing happen here. We do see a lot of bans going out both sides. The first pick, Riven, being picked up for Prungles.
Nivea, Riven is banned.
Oh, my bad. I was looking at the pick. For some reason I just said Riven, but yeah, Nivea.
So, and it is something that has been consistently banned away from Prungles, and the one or two times that we've seen the pick actually come through, it's been, you know, lights out pretty much. Been putting in, you know, tons of damage, landing those ice ball stuns, and just, you know, devastating teams with the zone control. But being picked up on the other side, we see Thresh and Gragas, both very good picks at trying to shut down the Anivia. They can get in very quickly, and a more recent change to the Anivia ultimate is that if she gets CC'd, like knocked up, then it cancels out the ultimate, something that didn't used to happen. So if, you know, a body slam comes in, a death sentence comes in, an explosive cast comes in, all of that's going to disrupt the Anivia damage output, and so it's going to open up opportunities for the team to get in there.
It seems that Goon Brigade, awkwardly enough, have kept Alawi open, something that La Blue Girl is actually pretty infamous for playing. Almost always banned against La Blue Girl, who is formerly known as Best Squidward something. Best Squidward something. I forgot what location he put into it, but Best
I think
Squidward
it was Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam.
Yeah. But, you know, we can see here, that's a last pick. So the Alawi, you're not seeing it coming through. And 9 times out of 10, you know, professionally, we would expect this Gragas to go top lane. In the Dragon and Elder League, we've been seeing it a lot in the jungle, but this is where this last pick save comes in. Because while you can kind of expect it to go top lane, you can't always know. So they can wait to see who the top laner for Goon Brigade are, take that pick, and then, you know, flex the Gragas top or jungle.
Speaking of, Gragas top becoming much more popular lately. Overall, Gragas a popular pick in general. See it in Elder League, see it in Phoenix League, see it in Dragon League, see it in LCS. But the new Gragas top does present a lot of dangers if they decide to go that route. But I really just want to see the Alawi. I love it when this guy plays it. He's so confident on it. And on that note, the Gnar locked in.
Yeah, with the Gnar lock-in, I don't think we're going to see an Alawi pick.
Denied.
Just completely calls me out on that one. Says, screw it. But I think it's going to be a rough matchup for a little bit. Gnar being half ranged, half melee. That it's going to be able to put on some early pressure to the Alawi, who doesn't have the best sustain. Yeah, there's 10% healing back if she can land a Q, but that's not crazy healing. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. That being said, there's a lot more consistency in Alawi teamfight than Gnar teamfight.
Yeah, most definitely. And a lot of picks going both ways. Goon Brigade taking the Caitlyn as well as the Anivia does present a lot of anti-siege and a lot of ability to set up sieges of their own, as well as some mid-game power spikes coming out of something like Lee Sin, who, not just mid-game, but early game, just starts to dominate it, and if you let him go early, he will take that pretty far. Does fall off in the late game, though. So overall, based on these drafts, CDC winning it, and why?
Looking at the two drafts, you know, I was thinking Goon Brigade had it, you know, they got a lot of comfort picks. They have the Anivia, they have the Caitlyn. Lulu, Caitlyn, also probably one of the best bot lanes going forward. But looking at the other team, there's so much more consistent CC. We have the Body Slam, we have the Ash Arrow, we have the Death Sentence into the box, into Flay, into Charm, into Explosive Casters, everything combining. And something that we've seen work out really well in this entire Elder League playoff series is that CC wins games. And when you have a team come in with no true tank, no true 100%, you know, guaranteed CC engage, they seem to struggle. So, just based off past experiences here, I do think that the fire-breathing Duckies are going to take this game one. There's just so much more guaranteed engage there. Plus, you always have to fear an Alawi tentacle coming right at your face.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to have to 100% agree with you on that one. I do like the contract by the fire-breathing rubber duckies, but more importantly, I like the comfort that they have. And I also like the sirens in the background being set up. Police raid for anyone allowing La Blue Girl to play Alawi. But yes, I completely like the comfort they have. I need a leash on Thresh, comfort champion for her, as well as the Alawi that I've mentioned a million times before. There's a lot of comfort, and overall, as you were saying, CC wins games. They do have great pick potential, having the Ashe, having the Ahri, having the Gragas, and then they do have some very oppressive team fight if La Blue Girl can be allowed a fight where he can just stand there and pop off. So I'm going to also have to give it to the fire-breathing rubber duckies.
Yeah, you'd think that I would live in a big city with the amount of police sirens I hear on a day-to-day basis. It is false, though, but they could be around to set up what we are about to see in this game, because I think a murder is about to go down.
Yeah, and we are going to be getting into games shortly, but on that note, I would like to welcome you all to Ascension eSports Elder League. This is an LCS-style tournament with a regular season playoffs for players in gold through plat, and this is the finals of Elder League to add to that. If you're interested in joining, please check out our subreddit, check out our Discord. There's information down below, and we hope to see you here soon. So now we are loading into game. Finally getting to the finals of Elder League. This is the second season of Elder League. And overall, Fire-Breathing Rubber Duckies had a very dominant season in the regular season, that is. Just completely destroyed every other team. I believe they went undefeated. The most they got were draws. Have to verify that. 23 points in the regular season. I mean, how do you deal with that? There has to be a lot of stress coming in for Goon Brigades, knowing how good this team actually is.
You would think that, but look at who the Goon Brigades have already taken on. I mean, they took on Intern United last week, and then the week before that, they took on, it was Triple V, right?
Triple V? Do we have a Triple V in Alter?
Yeah, Vicious.
No, that's Dragon League.
Might be. But anyway, the teams the Goon Brigades have already had to go up against aren't slouches. They were good teams. Nobody really expected Goon Brigades to be here. So when you look at that, you know, yeah, you can think, oh man, Fire Breathing Duckies, they're so good. They're just gonna stomp Goon Brigade. They're just gonna run right through them. But reality is, when you're Goon Brigades right now, you're like, guys, we've already beat good teams. There's no reason we can't beat another good team. So looking at it from their perspective, they're like, what do we have to lose, guys? Like, we're going to get second place minimum, and no one can take that away from us. So now it's our turn. Take this first place, take this series, and put their stamp down heading into next season.
Yeah, most definitely. And we are in game now. We do see very standard spreads coming out from the fire-breathing rubber duckies. Honestly, the fire-breathing rubber duckies, they're the team I didn't want to win secretly, just because I didn't want to say their name so many times in a playoffs game.
What,
yeah,
rubber
here
duckies?
They are, first place.
I mean, there are definitely some worse names to have to say, like the vicious, voracious voidlings or whatever that was.
Viciously voracious voidlings of Dragon League.
There was that one. There was what's the? I feel like there was another like triple automatopoeia name that I'm missing. But yeah, they can get a little difficult when you're on the play-by-play side, because there's just so many letters and so many words, and like, you know, trying to weave them in with names like Fugnugglers and Molus, like there's just a lot of words coming in here. But here we are, we're seeing some normal starts for these leagues. Not a lot of players have adapted to the Wraith Camp start, and we haven't really been seeing the kind of junglers that really do like crazy early invades. Like we've basically never seen the Ivern. We've never seen, you know, we've seen a fair bit of Graves, but it gets banned out quite a bit. And then we've seen a lot of Lee Sin, but not crazy invade Lee Sin.
Yeah, nothing too crazy coming out, just standard starts. But the one thing I would like to point out is a longsword start coming out of Fugnuggle. You're possibly going for the Blade of the Rune King first?
Yeah, it's not bad. Like, Blade of the Rune King is still a very good item. It still does everything you need it to do. And we've been seeing a lot of Caitlyn's build it. Not necessarily first, we've still been seeing the Infinity Edge into Brunan's build path for most Caitlyn's. And something that, you know, we've heard in the past is, right now in the state of the game, if you go with a longsword 3-pot start, you're maybe not as confident in the lane because you need that more sustain. Whereas if you go with the Doran's single pot start, you're very confident in lane. You know that you're not going to get pushed out too hard, and so you can take that extra, you know, risk there. Especially on champions like Caitlyn, where you don't need that early longsword start to boost you into the Blade of the Rune King. But we see a bit of an invade from Zamulus. He doesn't have any fractions.
Caught out completely. Easy first blood for Killer Z.
Easy peasy, Killer Z squeezy.
Well, you were talking about the invades earlier. Perhaps this is why we haven't been seeing it, but meanwhile in the top lane, Kaoshu is extremely caught out, flashing away from safety. He's going to have to put on the fancy feet in order to get out of this one.
And it's looking like he's kind of given up. Oh, body slam, but canceling that TP basically secures his death now, but there's no blast cone. He's gonna need some help from Killer Z. Yeah, Flash is available. Flash body slam is unlucky.
Very unlucky.
So Kalshu's still alive, right? But the biggest issue is how much time he's wasting for himself. Because this whole time he's been running around, not doing anything. He eventually goes down to Baba Ganoush. But think of how many minions he's missed. Now, he isn't going to be punished too hard because the Blue Girl backed, didn't continue shoving into the tower there, so he's only 4 CS behind right now. But it cost him his flash, it cost him his TP, and he's a little bit behind in the lane due to not having a Doran's Blade.
Yeah, he lost a lot, but he did waste a lot of time for fire-breathing rubber duckies, as you were saying. But overall, it didn't waste too much time on the side of La Blue Girl. La Blue Girl didn't even really commit to that, just stuck to the farming, let that play out, and Killer Z also kind of let that play out until pretty much the very end where he decided to roam up just because Gauchi was getting too close. So it wasn't too much loss for fire-breathing rubber duckies to commit to that kill. It more fell on the part of Baba Ganoush.
Yeah, and, you know, he's a jungler who doesn't quite need, you know, a hard farm route, getting a ton of kills. You know, Gragas is always going to be relevant just due to the amount of CC he brings to the table. I mean, yes, he can fall behind and be very squishy and not be able to be that solid engage every single time, but he has the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. He has the Alawi who's going to get pseudo-tanky and be in the middle of the team fights. So Gragas isn't relying on being 100% health 100% of the time. He has other routes to engage with.
That being said, 0-2 in favor of the fire-breathing rubber duckies so far. And it has started a gold lead. Pretty early to see the gold go to this much, only 6 minutes into the game, but 2 deaths early on will do that.
Yeah, and Nuggler's doing his utterly best in this bottom lane, trying to keep, you know, his team in it. He has about a 20 CS or 12 CS lead over Mokojin, but it's just not working out in his other lanes. In the mid lane, you're down almost 20 CS again. In the top lane, you are down 20 CS just due to the amount of time you wasted. So it's very rough, and here we see another Baba Ganoush gank coming in.
Yeah, and no flash on Holy as he burnt it early on. I need a leash, picking up that kill. And what a great roam to come out of Killer Z.
Yeah, and getting both flashes there, definitely worth the investment on top of the kill. I mean, you know, they got Death Holy's flash very early there before they even knew Killer Z was there. So there wasn't really an option for him to, you know, foresee that route coming in. But then once the charm misses, you know, the death sentence does connect, and then all of a sudden that's all she wrote.
And all that pressure applied, all that success that Fugnuggler's been doing, it's not working out as well as it should, as that loss is definitely going to start putting some assistance to Mokojin in this lane. Zumalos looks to set something up in the mid lane, try and shut down the Killer Z. But he does have the Spirit Rush. Sonic Wave connects. Doesn't take the Resonating Strike though. Does get the Spirit Rush for it. Killer Z playing a little bit dangerously. Baba Ganoush is there to give some backup.
Yeah, and one thing I'm kind of disappointed in is the lack of Lee Sin anything, really. You know, we saw that failed invade. Unlucky, that happens. But since then, we basically haven't seen Lee Sin. It's almost as if Goon Brigades don't have a jungler right now. And that's kind of a problem with a lot of Lee Sin players, even at the pro level. We saw Sven Scarron, you know, on the Lee Sin, you know, bad invade, gets shut down. All of a sudden, just disappears from the entire game. Here we see Zamulis trying to get in there, but he's not tanky. Already forced a flash, or even.
Forced the flash, and questionably so. He does have his Trinket Ward up, he does have Safeguard. He didn't choose to just ward hop over the wall. Zumalos is not looking good on this Lee Sin, and the worst thing you can absolutely do is have a weak early game on Lee Sin, because a champion that falls off late game, you need to make things happen. You need to force plays on the map.
Yeah, I mentioned how Gragas is always relevant. Too much CC, you're never really going to shut him down completely.
Oh! Oh my goodness, La Blue Girl!
I thought he was safe. I thought he was out.
And we talked about this. This is the comfort champ of La Blue Girl. And he just showed why this has been banned against him all regular season. What a play.
And 9 times out of 10, that's luck. But that was a fadeaway. The Blue Girl knew that there was no way to get away. They would have had to burn the flash to get away from that one, but doesn't seem to matter. Just landing right there. And I'd kind of like to go back to your point about the Lee Sin having to fall off late. And when it comes down to it, Lee Sin has so much less utility than the Gragas. And when you think about it, their main objectives in these late game team fights are almost the same. You have the Lee Sin that needs to get in, kick back a priority target so the team can blow it up. Gragas needs to do the same thing with his barrel, where he gets in, separates the team, trying to get either squishies into the team or just send them so far away they can't be involved. But the benefit there is that Gragas gets damage reduction. Gragas gets tanky. Gragas can still do a fair amount of damage with base damages. But he's going to build tanky, he's going to build utilities. Lee Sin, to be any kind of relevant outside of his kick late games, going to have to build very damage heavy. And we're seeing that already, going with that Tiamat first. The problem is, we've already seen how squishy he is.
Yeah, most definitely. The Tiamat first, I don't think is going to work out right now. I think more than anything, it's rough. You don't have the early game working for you. I don't think it's right to take the Tiamat this early, especially when you're failing this hard in the early game. And I understand the pressure to make plays, but right now, he needs something else to work on.
Whew. Once this Black Cleaver comes out for the Blue Girl, things are going to start getting pretty rough. And they're already rough. Death Holy's playing a bit forward, no death sentence available though. And Prungle's, it's not winning lane, but he's definitely on the wrong side of it right now.
Oh, and the charm lands from Killer Z. Killer Z dashing
defensively.
Yeah.
Had Ignite available, some a little questioning there.
Could have got A.
Yeah, Killer Z probably just didn't think that trading Summoner Spell for an egg would be worth it. But he also had the jungler right there with him, so maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there between Killer Z and Baba Ganoush. But things are looking okay for Goon Brigade. Yes, they're down 0-4. You know, not all their lanes doing so fantastic CC-wise, or CS-wise, but I mean, they still have a composition that can work. You can throw down the Anivia wall, you can get some Nars into it, and then, you know, there's always the threat of a Lee Sin kick. You know, if Mokujin gets caught out a little too far forward, Dragon's Rage in, all of a sudden that's one less damage threat you have to worry about.
And so far in this lane, Fugnuggler does look like he can be the saving grace of Goon Brigade. As overall, the way he moves is just so fluid. He's able to get off harassment despite his entire team just struggling in this matchup so far early game. And with that kind of movement, if you take that into late game, if he's able to keep up this farm, and especially having something that could stall out like an Anivia, it's very possible.
Yeah, and one thing I like to oh, big hook there.
Yeah, it lands lost with a great kick right into I Need a Leash. I Need a Leash falling critically low, but 2 flashes keeps them alive for now. And the safety is the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies bot lane, but it costed them every single summoner spell.
And they do lose the blue buff on the top side of the map. He's still kicking around though. Does land the resonating strike, but TP from the Blue Girl is going to keep them safe. And what I was mentioning before is, one thing about Caitlyn is she's such a late game monster. Like, just meanwhile in the mid lane, Prungles is getting caught, gets eggs, but the tower aggro was not where they wanted it. Oh,
what in the world? La Blue Girl looking to do a solo double kill, and we keep saying it. This is why you don't let him have a Lowy.
What is that damage? That's something we would like expect from like Season 2 Renekton. But not even then, because, you know, Renekton usually get engaged upon. This was La Blue Girl just saying, hey, I'm a little bored. Let me take 2 kills real quick.
And yeah, the whole teleport was for safety, just to keep his bot lane alive. He ends up double killing the bot lane and making it the most worth teleport I've ever seen.
Yeah, that ends up being pretty worth it. And now they send the Blue Girl back top lane, and having such a huge advantage already in this lane, it's just gonna get worse and worse now. Because now the Black Cleaver's completed, picked up another double longsword, and Kaoshu is so far behind, hasn't completed the Black Cleaver, sitting on a single longsword, and it's just not looking good for this top lane anymore. Bokujan's also not feeling so hot in this bottom lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, the empowerment that the Lulu gives, the movement speed, as well as the bonus on hit damage. Bugnuggler's really making it work, but we see Killer Z looking to set up something, but Prungles does see it coming, looking to help out his bot lane.
Prungles coming down. Killer Z's there as well, though. It's going to take a little bit more to get this tower.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit more... There's got to be a little bit more coordination on the macro game. Mostly to try and at least make the bot lane recall. Possibly set up a dragon play instead.
Yeah, and, you know, we see the 80 carries picking up their first big items. The longsword start now very confusing outside of safety from Nuggler. Yeah. Did go for that Infinity Edge anyway. So a little confusing on that note, but
oh, a fight going on in the top lane. Why would you take that one, Kaoshu? Dropping to a 3-0 La Blue Girl.
That was a little questionable. Knows he was down 3-0. Didn't have the items to back up. Got hit with like 6 tentacles. And if anybody's seen videos online, you know that tentacles usually lead to a good time unless your name is not.
So we do see the mid lane is running pretty critically low. The first tower blood, a death sentence. Lance doesn't follow up for anything else, which was the wise move to do. But yeah, critically low is that mid lane. Do you think the fire-breathing rubber duckies take rotation to pick it up for first tower blood?
I don't know, actually. I mean, really the lowest tower in this game right now is the mid tower, like you were saying. There's no reason to not just force it down. I mean, Zamulus is here already. Instead, they're going for the... Oh, that was a beautiful 90 caliber net, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough as Baba Ganoush, through an excellent gank setup by I Need a Leash, results in a kill for himself.
Yeah, that was such a good 90 caliber net to dodge out on the damage there, but it ended up not being enough. And you know, this is the time. Take your bottom lane. You won the lane. Run it mid. Get that tower. It opens you up for so much more, and you can get the tower for basically free.
Goodness, Blue Girl getting so much punishment. KZ looking to get this tower, gets walled up.
There's a charm.
Ooh, there's the body slam as well, but Zumalas gets a great Dragon's Rage. It's not enough to finish up Killer Z. Baba Ganoush having to flash away. Death Holy looking to help his team in some way. First turret does drop in the bot lane, though.
That tower was pretty healthy, too.
And there's towers dropping in every lane. Pretty much every lane of the Goon Brigade is lost.
Yeah, I mean, the CS totals alone almost tell that tale. The only one ahead in CS is Fugnugler, and he's not that far ahead. They are gonna, you know, sate their troubles with a Cloud Drake, but kind of not what you want.
Yeah, it's not the most optimal Drake for them to get at the very moment.
And it is just going to lead into a second one as well.
Oh! Ash Arrow lands. Killer C is going to look to follow up with the charm as well as a death sentence, and that's a deadly sin.
That was a lot. That was a good CC train. The arrow has, you know, a longer stun duration the longer it flies, but that, you know, they layered it perfectly into the charm, into the death sentence, and once, you know, you get caught by one CC against this team, it's lights out. And this is what I was talking about in chess. Like, CC wins games, and if, you know, they can do that 6 or 7 more times, that's basically it. And we can already see Prungles trying to set up and defend these towers. Well, what are you gonna do? They just brute force it down.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a while before Prungles does hit the point where he can be extremely successful in this game, as Anivia does have pretty great scaling, but right now, this tower spike, the fire-breathing rubber duckies are just running rampant with, is so strong.
And it's putting so much pressure on the Fugnugler, because he's the only one okay in the game. He's the only one with a reasonable score. But the Blue Girl getting back in.
Blue Girl looking to try and turn this around somehow, doing a lot of damage, but getting too much punishment, gets shut down. Meanwhile, we also saw Kaoshu drop. Mokujin trying to drop Fugnugler. Now the run in from Killer Z gets the egg of Prungles. Can they scramble it? Oh no! Zumalas, questionable move. Double kill picked up by I Need a Leash.
And that play was so clutch. It canceled out the damage onto Mokujin. And once, you know, once it started going even a little bit the fire-breathing rubber ducky's way, then it all goes the ducky's way. I mean, the Blue Girl getting a 4-man ultimate, I believe that was, and just coming in so huge there. You know, even any damage before the die, or before dying comes in, it, like, yes, the tentacles don't continue, but getting 1 or 2 smashes is really all you need in that situation when you have an Ashe, when you have an Ahri. That's why.
Absolutely, and it's great play to come out from the fire-breathing rubber duckies. The Blue Girl, it looked like a failure of a move, but all the damage he did, so clutch.
Zamolis thinks he can do something, but it is Baba Ganoush. He's not even going to need the body slam, he's just going to take the blast cone.
Look at his health bar drop immediately. That was one combo from Killer Z.
Yeah, Zamolis, you know, like we mentioned, he went the aggressive route, isn't tanky, is just going to get annihilated, and when you get annihilated on Lee Sin, you can't Dragon Rage. Whereas if you're, you know, the Gragas getting annihilated, you know, you can just...
Oh my god, Mokujin with these arrows!
Oh man, Death Holy also going to be going down here.
Yeah.
Maybe, eventually.
Gonna drop Prungles, trying to run away. Has to flash in order to survive, but Mokujin is gonna pick up one more kill and is on a rampage now.
And just CC wins games. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I'm saying it every time for a reason. You know, all season long we've been seeing these teams pick tankless, CC-less comps. And when I say CC-less, you know, obviously this team has CC. They have Gnar, they have Walla, they have Dragon Rage, the Anivia stun, and like all these things combo together are CC. They're all very non-reliant. Gnar comes in on the 2.
Kaoshu gets a pretty good Gnarl. Not able to get much more out of it, but the stun does major work for Prungles. Gets dropped immediately by Killer Z.
So they managed to stop the Baron, trade 1 for 1. If you're Goon Brigade right now, that's worth. Like that's okay. You can live with that.
Yeah. It's 1 for 1 plus gold stuff. You're absolutely right. It works for them. And they do get priority on this tower, which could drop before they even get backup. Blue Girl getting there just in time. So now, with this lead hitting the 10-point point, how in the world do Goon Brigade get back into this?
Goon Brigade needs to funnel every possible thing into Nuggler. I started on this point earlier, and I kind of lost it in some of the fights, but Caitlyn can win games, with the sole reason being she's so far away from these fights just because of her long auto attack range that in pretty much every level of play, it becomes almost impossible to get to her if your team caters to you. So a lot of people can, try and do something with the Caitlyn, but she can just stand back and fight. Unless you can get a flank on, if you can get, onto this Caitlyn, she has so much range, so much damage. Like, look at this. She's not even on her second Sheen item yet, and look at how much damage she's doing. That's almost unlucky. But, like, the Caitlyn damage, if she can set up and just turret out damage, then that's what matters. It's not going to matter how tanky Gragas is. It's not going to matter how tanky Alawi is. She's going to be able to cut through both of those members and stay alive unless we see Killer Z and Baba Ganoush take her out.
I like how you did the reverse cast here. The moment you started talking about Fugnuggler's play, he just turns on and starts pretty much eating away at the health bar of Mokujin. And yeah, that is the most proved fact of this game, is the savior of the Goon Brigade is going to be Fugnuggler if you let him get into this. And La Blue Girl wants to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how Fugnuggler, takes this forward. Typically, we would see a second Zeal item come in just to try and do as much work as possible with that Infinity Edge combo. But it's looking like we're going to be seeing, I believe, a Cutlass coming in. It makes sense because you can't deal damage if you're dead. So starting the lifesteal early and often does work. It does keep you alive. Which kind of made sense why, we would have seen it first item. Big engage.
Arrow goes out, La Blue Girl trying to get on to Fugnuggler. Unable to, Zumalas is going to drop to Mokujin. No, La Blue Girl gets that kill. Now Kaoshu running over, flashes burnt everywhere. Death Holy almost falls. The egg will be scrambled. And that is 2 down on the side of Goon Brigade.
Fugnuggler now caught between a rock and a fat man, and shouldn't be able to get away. It looks like they do want to just go for the towers, though.
Yeah. I mean, kills get you so much, but objectives get you so much more. Now, a lot of punishment. The Gnar ult is there. The stun onto Baba Ganoush, and a lantern is clutch.
Yeah, Mokujin knows the face in the hole isn't gonna put her in the dirt, so just kind of laughs it off. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Baron bait come in. They know that the Gnar bar is down for a couple seconds. They do have an option to get the vision game in, and with everyone else coming off recalls, this is a good point to be in. And this is where they can catch someone out, trying to clear some vision, trying to get, back vision for the Goon Brigade. But they do seem a bit hesitant.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it. Fugnuggler is looking pretty good right now. Despite having 0 kills, he's chomping away at everyone. Look at his CS. 274 at 28 minutes. He's alive in this game. And there's no reason to doubt the amount of damage he can do.
Yeah, we see here he picked up the new
Lord Dominic's regard.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But I was just talking about how that
Fugnuggler gets caught out by a charm.
And that can't happen. That's what's going to cause the fight to be a loss. The arrow goes in as well.
Then the Death Sentence kills off Death Holy.
And Fugnuggler ends up dying to the tentacles because they managed to finish off the clone. So that's a 2 for O, and that is going to be the Baron call. What I was trying to say is that the new client is actually just dreadful because like you can hover over items and it doesn't show you. So I was like, oh, I'll hover it. I can't remember, and then it just didn't matter. It ruined the whole point. Zamulis over the wall, wants to try and get in on this. Through KHP, this is the time. Doesn't get it.
So close, but so dead, as well as Prungles. That's a Baron and 2 kills for the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies.
This top wave is set up so perfectly. If they can get to it right now, which they're going to, then this should be another tower.
Yeah, especially with that lead. Bug Nuggler's so aggressive, so confident in the way he's positioned.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn does, have that opportunity afforded to her with the longer attack range. If you're on something like an Ashe or a Varus or Kog'Maw, something like that, you might not be doing the same moves, but having the Lulu backup does help a lot.
Overall, really rough start for Goon Brigade. It's going to be very difficult to come back from this. We're well over the 10K mark. We've gone into the 15K deficit mark.
Yeah, I mean, we see we see the Duckies are finishing up their builds. I mean,
oh my god, Mokujin! How do you keep landing these?
That was a kind of far away too. That wasn't like point blank or anything like that. But yeah, things are up now because the Duckies are starting to finish builds. Like they're hitting like 3-4 items, and we're seeing 1 item completed for Kaoshu. Like hasn't even made it to his 2nd item yet, and when they're in your base taking down Nexus towers, that's not helpful.
Absolutely. We already see 2 inhibitors down working on this final inhibitor tower.
Yeah, I'm a little confused why they're trying to force. It makes sense. Getting this 3rd inhibitor gets you the double super minions, but it seems like they're a little bit afraid to try and finish it up to this point. But they're taking every advantage possible. So this is how Nuggler died last time. The ghost got popped and he died to a tentacle. But Zamulis goes in. Did Dragon
Bug Nuggler's gonna drop. That's another dead member. With only Death Only and Prungles, this is sure to be the end as super minions just go into the face, destroy these towers, and destroy the first game of this finals matchup.
Yeah, Prungles going into egg form, can't do anything from there. Gets tentacle down, and that is game 1. Destroying the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies.
An overall very dominant display from the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies, and you have to question the draft of Goon Brigade. They allowed 2 comfort picks, and even though we talked about the Thresh and we talked about the Alawi, what about Mokujin? He looks extremely comfortable on that Ashe as he landed arrow after arrow.
Yeah, and that just shows why Ashe is such a top-tier pick. I mean, we've seen it time and time again being picked up professionally. It doesn't really have that many counters per se, and a lot of people are saying that Ashe is the go-to carry because you get the arrow, you get sustain, you get a lot of damage, especially come late game, and 6-1 and 12 landing arrow after arrow. That kind of shows why. And when you can't deal with, when you don't have any tank stats, like Kaoshu, the tank, we saw him take an arrow in the top lane and then just kill as he slowly walks up and charms them. Like, you need more than that. You need tankiness.
Absolutely, and you need what you kept stressing, crowd control. One of the biggest factors was just how well the crowd control was chained on the side of the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies. Like, on Zumalas, he got caught out with an Ashe arrow that went into a charm, that went into a death sentence, all perfectly layered. On that note, we are going to take a look at the damage charts, and Killer Z topping them by far. And look at the damage coming to Fugnugler, though. He was very alive in this game.
Yes, second highest damage in the game. You know, Caitlyn does work. I mean, we mentioned it a couple times. Caitlyn has every opportunity to carry that game back for the Goon Brigade. It's just that the team wasn't set up around Nugler, and getting caught out once or twice just completely, you know, invalidates everything you bring because you're dead. You can't do damage when you're dead.
And on that note, we will be taking a short break as we get into Game 2 of the fire-breathing Rubber Duckies versus Goon Brigade. Can they bring it back, or was that too demoralizing for them? We'll find out soon enough.